What's going on, guys? Seth and Chevy here. We just watched episode 7 of Chainsaw Man. Quick recap. So we are continuing and finally ending the arc where they have been stuck on the 8th floor of this building with a demon that or devil that has them trapped there perpetually in time. Last episode, Denji became the Chainsaw Man and jumped down in there, and this we start with that, in which he jumps down there and instantly starts ripping and tearing. He's in a pit full of faces. It's pretty unsettling, and he starts just chopping through everything. Himeno just kind of watches as this happens. A couple instances where it's emphasized that Denji's running out of blood, and so he starts biting the devil he's fighting to regain the blood, noting that it doesn't taste good, but seeing how upset the devil is made it taste all the better. We get a flashback from Himeno while she watches this happen of, I don't know if we got the guy's name or not, but he's a Tim Roth looking motherfucker.
Oh, her teacher.
Her teacher, yeah. I don't know his name, but they're pretty much having a discussion about people, being sane and keeping their sanity and fighting devils and how that can fuel them. And as she's thinking about that, she's watching Denji, who's just losing his shit fighting this devil, and she kind of realizes that maybe he has the potential to fight and possibly kill the gun devil, as she is skeptical of Aki's ability to do that because he is the complete opposite of Denji in that regard. 3 days pass, apparently, and everybody's just kind of chilling and kind of doing what they're doing before. Aki's resting after being stabbed in the last episode, and Arai and Kobeni are still freaking out. They look a little fatigued at this point of just being stressed for days. But worth mentioning that Denji's been fighting this entire time. He's been in an elevator shaft fighting devils for 3 days straight. He emphasized earlier too as well that as long as he can keep getting blood, he can keep going. So he called himself a perpetual motion machine or perpetual machine, something like that, which was pretty funny. It's kind of anticlimactic when he finally gets to the heart that the devil has been telling him, or at least 3 days ago told him he's never going to find. He finds it 3 days later, and
he's presented it.
Yeah, and he just kind of takes it out, and it's over. They all kind of just walk out. Everybody's really tired, fatigued. Denji passes out. So they decide to kind of get together for a night of drinking, which is an interesting turn of events after what we just watched for the last 3 episodes, in which the whole gang gets together and goes to a bar. Everybody's drinking, talking, getting to know each other, introducing each other. Power's being really weird about food. Every time there's food, she just grabs it and tells people it's hers. As everybody keeps drinking, she just keeps ordering more food and being very protective of it. Denji reminds Himeno that she owes him a kiss, in which she says she needs to drink more, and she does. She drinks plenty. Finally, Makima shows up. She's also drinking, having a drinking contest with Aki, and things are going swimmingly until Himeno finally gets to the point where she kisses Denji while obviously obliterated. And everyone's watching as it happens. Denji's having a great time, as this is his first time kissing anybody, but is met with a mouthful of puke, which is pretty disturbing. It was all censored, so that's kind of interesting to see. And it's pretty bad. One guy said it was traumatic, which that's what I thought when I was watching. I was like, that's awful. So everybody sees that, and then Denji's in the bathroom puking. Who's the guy with him?
I thought that was alright.
That's what I thought too. But he looked so different when he wasn't sweating and upset.
It was like Kobeni being super chill the whole time too.
Yeah, I recognized her. She still seemed kind of meek, but it kind of looked like him, but at the same time he said he was jealous of his power, so I'm like, oh, so it must have been him for sure, because he was there for that. But he's kind of helping him through the process of dealing with the situation and purging in the bathroom. Everybody essentially gets ready to leave, and nobody knows where Denji's at until somebody says that they saw Himeno take him off somewhere, which is interesting, seeing him just being carried away, in which he stays the night with Himeno at her place, where she emphasizes that she recognizes he has a thing for Makima and comments on that, and Aki also having a thing for her, and that she doesn't get it. Obviously, there's a little bit of jealousy there, a little bit of upset, and we'll see where the night takes them in that sense. That's about as far as I'll go with that. And then we get an outro sequence that was like a JRPG. It's kind of neat the way they did it, and then a lot of
Recap. All the scenes were like recaps of things happen up to this point.
Yeah. I was gonna say that all the depictions of the females from the show are all kind of more like
fan servicey
shots, and then the JRPG aspect. It was kind of had a nightcap thing going on with the visuals and stuff. It was pretty interesting. I appreciated the gaming aspect, and pretty straightforward episode. But after the last couple episodes, it was kind of nice to just have a break in the stressful situation that was happening prior, even if things got a little weird and may continue to get weird into episode 8. We will find out. But what were your impressions of episode 7?
Well, first off, it started with a bang, which was a great way to get your attention right off the bat. Is Denji just starts destroying I can't remember what it's, the Infinity Devil or something like that, or the
I think so, something like that. I
can't remember its name, but I just love how like in the last episode he's like, I'm just gonna go in there and beat the shit out of it until it gives up, and
it's what he did.
Literally happens that way. So he wasn't wrong. The animation of him just like flailing in there while also like getting hit every once in a while was,
and getting like his arm ripped off or whatever the hell happened in there,
healing while mid swing. Like I don't know, like Mappa's really showing off with this anime.
Especially after coming from Jujutsu Kaisen, which is also animated really well. This is just like way better than that, and so like I mean like it's impressive. Every episode is impressive.
And then I love the fact that the show takes breaks from like all the action and stuff like that, and just has like real life moments. To go back to even to when Aki's doing just like the housework and stuff. That was like such a pleasure. First off, like tonally, like it slows down the show a little bit. You get to see like that he's a human doing mundane things like everyone else does. But then like just animated in like overly well for what he's doing. This is kind of the same deal. They're just hanging out, at a bar doing what people should be doing, at least when they're at a bar, which is hanging out with their friends and drinking and eating and whatnot. And then going into the end of the episode where she I can't remember her name right now. Himeno like walks up to her. That the animation of her just walking to the bed was just like, did that need to be that smooth? That was ridiculous. Smooth, So, I mean, there's not a lot that happened like subject wise in the episode, but there was a lot of small moments, like being able to get their ages, who their contracts were with. You get to hear a little bit about like Makima usually travels a lot. She hasn't been lately. They suspect it's because of Denji. Just a lot of little tidbits that kind of add to depth of the show. So.
I think it's amazing that we're 7 episodes into this show and I know more about every character than Makima. She's still kind of a mystery. She's mostly just like lore you hear from other people talking about her, and then you see her in action. You can tell that she's definitely like manipulating Denji. I don't even know if she's like a good person or not. I can't even tell because the show doesn't spend time with her, and that's on purpose for sure. So it's really interesting that we learn all this information about her from everyone else. Like she's fucking Willy Wonka. Like everyone, you only hear about
Well, I'll say it was
stuff.
Even when she showed up, like the gal at the end, I don't even know who that was. I think it was just supposed to be a random person or whatever. I think she probably introduced herself. I missed it, but I was like, that was the first time I've ever seen her. I was like, you've worked there for how long?
There was
like,
a
you
couple,
lost an entire squad.
Couple of
this.
characters around the table I didn't know.
Yeah,
like that old guy who was talking about how Denji's young and has to introduce himself and stuff. I'm like, who the fuck's this guy?
Yeah, and I know that, you know, before they went to the bar, they had made a point to say like the entire like group is in town. Basically, we should do this now.
Yeah.
So interesting. A lot of characters. I do wonder how many of them are
sticking around. Who's temporary? Might just be there to add that there are some old timers there,
and then a ton of newbies.
Yeah.
So, which apparently is a theme.
Because people are getting murdered.
Yeah.
So, as that flashback kind of, solidifies even further.
For sure. So yeah, I mean, my overall takeaway is the same as every episode. It's gonna be repetitive. The animation's great. The music's great. The tone is great. They're really good about like throwing in some ridiculous things that kind of make you laugh along the way as well. Like just the way Denji responds to people half the time, even so much like, you know, being like, dude, blah 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 blah, or like frick yeah and shit like that. So like he's just he's very simple, and it's a good thing because there's a lot of serious stuff happening.
Yeah, he's very simple. The whole part where fucking Himeno kept like hinting at kissing him and stuff. The whole time he's just like, just like staring at her, like fucking smiling like a creep, and
staring at her lips and stuff.
Yeah, and then Makima shows up and she's like, "Who you gonna kiss?" He's like, "Nobody." And then fucking Himeno's like, "Oh, you don't want to fucking smooch?" He's like, "Yeah, I do." Like he's just like can't figure it out. He's having an issue.
Yeah. And then outside of the vomit scene,
it was pretty gross.
That was I'm glad it was censored because I'm sure there's people who probably didn't want it censored, but I got plenty of the point there.
If they animated it, then I would want to see it without the censor. Not because I want to see puke in someone's mouth, but if they went out of their way to actually animate that. But if they animated it with the censor there, like, it just, because why would you need to show that?
That's the line?
Yeah.
Vomiting? There's blood and guts like flying around the show, and vomiting's the line?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's what I was thinking. Like, I was like, that was gross. And I'm watching a show where people are like getting chainsawed up and there's like, blood and guts.
Yeah. I don't know. It was a good time. I so far 0 bad episodes in this anime. So
there hasn't even been like a fucking like okay one. They've all been great.
Yeah.
So I really like this episode. I like every single episode. This show is definitely already one of my favorites, which is wild. I'm really enjoying the story. I'm enjoying the characters, and that's what this episode really highlighted even further for me is they have been able to sell characters to me. They've done a really good job at making likable characters that I want to see more of. It's not just the Denji show. It's not just about him, which I think is the best way to do anything. Like, obviously, I want to have a main character that I like, but he's kind of an idiot. He's kind of stupid. He's kind of simple. I like that about him, but there's so many flavors of types of people that are in the mix that make the dynamics a lot of fun, and they're all, it's all by design, but like they do a good job on playing off of everybody's differences in these dynamics. That's a lot of fun. The way this episode begins, I think, is a really interesting kind of finale to the last 2 episodes, considering we're expecting a big fight, which we did get, but we didn't necessarily, we saw a little bit of it in the very beginning, but the implication of the 3 days, I think, adds more to the fight than watching him fight it and just beat it would have been. The idea, it's not about necessarily the fight itself and watching the fight, it's about the feat that happened. It's about that Denji can fight something for 3 days straight. That adds to, like, there's something to this dude that is pretty scary, because nobody else is doing that.
Also, the Devils seem to know him.
Yeah,
which is kind of weird.
And that's something that I wanted to talk about as well, because they talked about like 3 times in this episode that this was obviously a trap for Denji, and activities ramping up. So they're talking about they think it has to do with Denji, which is also very interesting, especially seeing what he was capable of doing in the situation where it would seem impossible when this thing's like, oh, you'll never find my heart. And then I don't think the devil thought he'd be fighting anything for 3 days straight, right? Like that's just like a fight of endurance that finally it's like, okay, dude, fuck it. Like I'm done doing this. Which
stop hurting me, please.
Yeah. Like well, it's funny because in the beginning it's just like taunting him. Every time he goes down, it's like, it's over, and he gets back up, and it's like, okay, and they start fighting again, and then he'll do something. It's like, it's over, I'm winning, and then he gets back up and he keeps fighting, and then 3 days later it's like, okay, fuck, dude, just end it, man. So yeah, anyway, my whole thing is like, it's not about the fight, it's about what happened, and I felt that, I liked that, and then the rest of the episode was just essentially them in the bar, and I really enjoyed that too. The humor's really good, the info is good, the character building was really good. It was nice to see 2 characters that were otherwise just kind of stressed out perpetually get to kind of relax. It was just kind of nice to see those characters get to like relax, and you get to know them a little bit more, because I know there's kind of this meme that's been happening since last Tuesday where like everybody who read the manga is upset about people's view of Kobeni from the anime. Which a lot of people also say like, well, the manga didn't have a voice, it wasn't animated, so your interpretation of it was based off pictures, and now the way they've animated it, and then other people are saying, well, they did that, and all that stuff.
To screaming for 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just a difference in translation, but there's obviously people who are fans of Kobeni, and a lot of people who found it really annoying in the last episode. This episode kind of shows that she's not just this like nutcase who's like freaking out constantly. She's definitely meek. She's definitely shy. She definitely will stab somebody, which she shouldn't be doing. But there is, just a normal character underneath that. So I'm glad this episode was able to show that. Also, Arai in the bathroom, kind of showed that he's also just like a normal dude who's in a stressful situation. So I think that was needed.
Plus, I mean, people act all sorts of crazy when they're stressed out. So
yeah, very true. Seeing that Himeno is somebody who likes to drink and party also adds to her character a bit. Aki pretty much seemed the same throughout the episode. He definitely is down to drink when challenged, but still maintain his composure until he was done. And Makima seems to be superhuman, if she is even human, because she just drank and drank and drank and was fine. So maybe she's just that powerful. Maybe there's something about her we don't know.
No spoilers, please.
But that was no spoilers. We haven't read the manga. So that was really interesting as well. And then the way the episode ends is interesting, because there's the questionableness of like whether people should be going home together when they're that wasted, but a bit irresponsible. But the scene added a little bit of context to Himeno's character. Also, there's an intimacy to the episode, or not the episode, the scene that is really alien for Denji to be part of. It was a really weird scene to watch, but it was really interesting to find out her view on the dynamics of the group and how everyone kind of views each other and stuff. And then seeing where that will go in the next episode will be interesting as well, because I don't know what that's going to mean for characters going forward. But yeah, really interesting, really refreshing episode. I really enjoyed it, but I've been enjoying every single episode of this show so far, and I'm going to be really upset when the season is over. But yeah.
Back to the waiting game.
Yep. But really good, really enjoyed it. One of my favorite things about the show so far is, the action's awesome. It's great. It's fantastic. I'm really digging it. It's really, really violent, but it's the more quieter scenes that I enjoy the most. I think the characters are all really endearing. I think the dialogue between them is really good, and the way that they decide to do flashbacks during moments where people are talking and figuring things out, they're able to add a lot of background to characters in a short amount of time that's super effective. Like I said, and emphasizing again, I really like the characters in the show, all of them. So that's pretty cool because that's not a typical thing for me in most things, let alone anime. So definitely really well done. And yeah, I can't wait to see the next episode. I said that last Tuesday, and a week flew by, so it'll happen again.
Yeah, I know I'd read like, and I don't know if this is like a wide, spread opinion or not. It was just like a one guy, type of deal, but was concerned about the pacing of the show because they're like not making much ground. And I was kind of like, I'm fine with that. It just means more anime, and I don't
what?
like because they're not like getting through the manga very fast.
Oh,
So they're going. They felt, I should say, very specifically, this person felt that the show felt a little slow. I don't agree with that. I love that they're taking.
if it's this effective and they're going slowly through the manga, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. I also we keep saying it all the time, but like Mappa obviously is like in this 110% when they're making the show. They're really kind of setting a high bar for episodic anime. So when it comes to animation,
nothing is even remotely half-assed with this show. So
yeah.
Anything else?
Back to the waiting.
Yep. All right, well, let us know in the comments what you guys think of episode 7 of Chainsaw Man. What you think about the finale of the fight? Or what do you think about how it went? What do you think about the whole bar scene and the drinking and everyone getting to know each other? We think about Himeno and her drinking. We think about Makima without spoilers. And yeah, you happy for Denji for getting what he wanted? He got more than what he wanted, I think.
So Power eating at least 4 full plates of food.
And Power eating all the food and acting like an animal about it. She was so serious. Everybody's just sitting there eating, and she was just grabbing and just like stare at people. And it wasn't like a funny, cute, charming way of being aggressive. She was just like staring at people like, fuck it. Like,
this one's mine.
Like, don't touch my food.
Yeah.
It's like a dog around their food bowl. And yeah, let us know everything you think about in the comments below when it comes to episode 7. I've been Seth. This has been Chevy. Until next episode, have a good one, and we'll see you later.